Hello everyone and welcome to a sunny day in the UK and of course in the virtual world of America. We are live for the Petit Le Mans 2020. Just going over to the qualifying session as we speak. Some of the cars are already out on circuit doing those out laps for you, and this is going to be a very special event. It's the first time we've ever had the support of a Trussell Trust as well, so we're supporting a charity for the first time, trying to eliminate food banks across the UK, as you see some of the GTCs starting their qualifying session now. In the broadcasting box it is myself, Matthew Johnson, and David Buckley. Say hello, Dave.
Hello everybody.
And we're going to be covering the action as it unfolds for the next 10 hours and a bit for the rest of the event. Of course, it is Petit Le Mans 2020. It is the air temperature of 25, along the same with the track temp. And it's going to be a fairly mild day, pretty much the same throughout, and going down to about 21 degrees as we head into the night time. Of course, driving both in day and night, you've got that wonderful transition phase here at this gorgeous circuit. Very narrow and very short lap times coming in through the day as well. That's across all classes, especially for those LMP2s. Pretty much just a few seconds over 1 minute lap times, so traffic is going to be a major issue for them. Of course, the track itself is Road Atlanta. It started out in the 1990s for the PTLM, and pretty much since day one it has been on the major calendar for the World Endurance Championship, or the IMSA. So it's always been an iconic event. It's always been one of the ones to beat, and very different characteristics than other circuits such as Sebring and the other iconic American circuits as well. But we love coming here, don't we, Dave?
Absolutely, it always puts on a fantastic show whenever we come to Road Atlanta, be it the PTLM or in the WEC. And yeah, there's not much to compete taking these cars around Road Atlanta, really.
Yeah, so we've got three classes just to cover them for you as we bring up some of the timing boards we've got. So as you can see there in your top left, there's 42 minutes of qualifying. GTCs are going around, as already mentioned, and it is just about three classes. GTCs, which is the flat six Porsches, that's modded content for those of you that know your R-Factor 2 stuff, not used in the official one, to keep the cost of the event down, because that's important to us here at Chequered Flag Simsports. And then alongside those we have the GTEs and the LMP2s as well. So that's a great mixture of cars, all with different capabilities, and it's going to be great to see them unwind in a short moment's time when the race gets underway.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Especially love the fact that we've got these Flat 6 GTC. They're a little bit aged in terms of when they actually race, but they're so much fun. There's no traction control or ABS, I don't think, so they are lively, and they're just so much fun to chuck around this circuit.
Well, we're just posting the spotter guide on the chat windows for you now. We're live on Facebook, YouTube and Twitch as we go into this session. A few people are still joining the server. We had a few hiccups before joining after Studio 397 released their wonderful update a few days before the race. I went there early on and get it out in the fresh, just get it out there. But anyway, the spotter guide's up there for you guys if you want to see what kind of teams are running this afternoon. It's all laid out for you. 44 teams are due to take part. Hopefully they can all make it for the event as well. Most of them are already in qualifying, and we've got some of the times coming in now, Dave.
Yeah, it's been a good start for... he is quick. He's always there or thereabouts at the top of the field in his car, and obviously the winners from WEC the beginning of the year, so they've got some work to do. 1 minute 22.205 is about 2 cents per second quicker than next car, Christopher Tarboton. So yeah, in a good stead at the moment, but there's still quite a bit of time for everyone else to catch up.
Yeah, Turkaken, one of the teams, they actually won last year, hence why they've got that magical number 7. So if you see any of the cars on the spotter guide, usually cars 1 to 3 represent the top 3 podium positions on the LMP2. 4 to 3 to 6 is the GTE winners, and then 7 through to 9 are the GTC winners from last year. So they've got the pleasure or the privilege of taking number 7 for this time, or this year. And that means that they have got it all to lose, but potentially all to win again.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to see if they can double down, basically the double win. He's gone faster again, 1 minute 21.785. So yeah, Turka is flying at the moment as he comes back into the pits, and I'm assuming he's going to go out for another run.
Yeah, that is a mega time. In second place, we've got Luigi Russo with a 1:22.1 on the board. So that's your second fastest time. Bit of a large gap between them and the pole position. And then bringing up in third place is Borna Spaladic with a 1:22.334. So that's a more modest gap between those two. So slightly closer for them. But still, Turka Hakkinen really setting down the pace for the GTCs.
Yeah, all the between second and eighth are all within the 22, so the gap is it's quite close between all these drivers. You can gain a couple of tenths, you can get yourself a few positions up the grid. So nice close competitive field we have in the GTCs, which is good to see.
So they're just coming through. We're on board with the Go Team Racing car at the moment. Of course, as always, before we get to the end of this session, we're going to go on board with one of the teams to see what it's like from their bird's eye view, or their cockpit view, shall we say. So let's just go on board with Go Team Racing now as they come under the bridge onto their next flying lap. We'll take you around Road Atlanta. Okay, so coming into turn one, it's going to be a slight brake as you reach the cones. Let the revs do the engine braking for you. Just let it ride wide. Always a bit of counter steer as it gets to the top of the hill. This is where it gets tricky though, because it's a blind apex into the entry of turn 3. Ride the curve as much as you dare, and then hug it back over to the left-hand side while accelerating downhill. Make sure you get a wide entry into turns 4 and the S's, and then it's pretty much about hugging those apexes as much as possible before braking early to turn 5. Use all the exit on the exit of turn 5 if you dare, and then back over to the left and heavy braking. This is probably the hardest braking zone so far in the rest of the lap, and then another quick braking zone. Not a lot of grip here at this part of the circuit in sector 2, and then you want to power down onto the longest part of the circuit. Very vital corner as you get back up to racing speed. If you don't do that, then you're in a lot of trouble as the rest of the competition gets the slipstream behind. Make sure you get a nice clean cut to maximise or reduce that turn-in affliction. And then over to the right-hand side, watch the markers. Curbing comes into play. Brake heavily. Hit the first apex perfectly. That will set you up nicely for the second. Bit of counter steering there from on board, and then over the top of the hill and down once more. This is going to be another tricky corner, especially for the GTCs that don't have any traction control or ABS. And across the start-finish line, that was a 1:22.1, so an improvement there, but still staying in P3.
Just see as he goes around the lap how not planted these cars are. There's lots of soaring at the steering wheel and just managing the four-wheel slip, and that was what makes these cars so much fun to drive. They are by no means planted to the ground. There's not much downforce, and yeah, they're a true driver's car.
Yeah, the GTCs are certainly one of our favourites to keep taking or bringing back to PTLM. We took it here last year, and by God, it gave us some really good action. It's not for the faint of heart, that has to be said, because it is a handful when going around some of the corners here. You know, if you make a mistake, you haven't got any aids to help you out, you're pretty much on your own. It's a driver's car, plain and simple. It's about you and the machine, and everything you do is, you know, it's your own fault basically if it goes wrong.
Yeah, they are an excellent car to drive, but they do bite when things go wrong. You got to remember as well, they've got the classic style sequential gearbox as well, so you have to blip when you go down a few gears, and it looks like there's a couple of spins going up top of the hill.
Christopher Tarboten qualifying for RSA Sim Racing, having a bit of a moment there, but he seems to have been able to escape the pit road and return to normal. So how long we've got left inside this qualifying session? So 5 minutes left for the GTCs before we go over to the GTE cars. And they're currently now on their outlap. So let's go through the order then, as it is at present. Turka Hakkinen is still in the lead. 1:21.785 is your pole position time. Then we have the 86 from Team Eagle. That's one of the stock skins, the only stock skin taken this afternoon. That's a 1:22.1. Then we have Go Team Racing in third place. That's Born It behind the wheel. And we've just had a new car go up the order. That's Jesper Eriksson, 78 from Scuderia Ventus. That is a 1:22.066. So good lap by him, and he's on the podium there.
Yeah, fantastic livery they've got as well. This the old Top Gear throwback. But yeah, a fantastic effort. He's still 0.3 of a second off Turk Hacken, so Turk is looking a little bit untouchable in the Hydra car at the moment. But there's still a couple of laps that they could respond, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, in reference to the paint scheme that they've decided to take, they've even got the scuff mark down the left-hand side where Hammond binned it into one of the other cars. For those of you that don't understand the reference that they've made with this current paint scheme, if you watch some of the old Top Gear episodes, it's where they went to the 24 Hours of Silverstone. And, of course, they couldn't use official sponsors, so they put Penniston Oils and what was the other one? Something Biscuits?
Yeah, Larson's Biscuits.
Larson's Biscuits, and when they open the door, of course, it says something rude and inappropriate, which we probably shouldn't say on stream. So, you know, it's a rather funny little paint scheme, but yeah, I did giggle a bit when I loaded that thing up. They've even got the little novice sticker on the back. Look, that's cute.
It's a good effort, and I must say all the cars this year look absolutely fantastic. Everyone has done such a good job with deliveries. It's making the grid look very special. Special with different colour schemes as well.
Right, let's go through the rest of the order then. So we've got Jack Brown in the 74 machine. That's a 122.120. And going into the top 5 is Go Team Racing. So they've since been demoted down from that third place position of theirs. Just outside the top 5 though is Christopher Turboten. They're actually sharing a sim rig at home today for RSA Sim Races. It's Dylan who's going to be taking this seat. So it's going to be rather confusing to keep track who's driving, but it's only 2 of them, so it won't be too bad. Then we've got the number 15 from Racing Club Endurance Junior. That's 122.716. And then the first of the Team Rookie Monster cars is 122.730. P9 belongs to the 36 from Energy Racing Team with Alberto Zanotti, and that's a 122.732, so only 0.02 of a second between those two positions. And then the 66 from Sim Apex RT, 122.788. So a lot of the teams seem to be going in those high 22 regions. You know, that's 3 or 4 cars all within that 0.7 of a second in that short space of time. So there's a lot of give or take that's going to come when the racing goes green.
Yeah, we've got maybe like 12 or 13 cars all within about a second of each other. So yeah, it's super close in this category. I guess it helps as well that everyone's driving the same machinery, so it's all about how you set the car up on your driving talent. But yeah, it's good to see that the grid is so close, and we can hopefully see the same thing in the race.
Yeah, just moving outside those top 10 positions, you've got Andrew Parkinson for Track VR Racing. Oh, there goes the 78. Jesper Eriksson going round at turn 5. That's going to be a really bad choke point for some of the cars here this afternoon. I mean, I know it's qualifying. They're trying to find that limit, that extra tenth or 2 that they can. But turn 5, if you use that curbing and the car isn't fully settled, it can really, really hurt the performance and send that car around. Doesn't matter what class it is either. That will happen to any of the cars.
Yeah, it's a tricky corner to get right, and yeah, if you just go that little bit too wide, that's you in the barriers and your race pretty much over. We saw that a lot last year, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see who can get through that, as it looks like the GTEs are just getting to the end of the pit lane just to get ready for their go. So there's only 37 seconds of GTE qualifying left, so everyone's going to be pretty much on their final go here.
Yeah, oh, and as you say that, Luigi Russo just started his final lap, spins out at the top of turn, or the exit of turn 1. That is going to be his last final attempt in the bin. In the meantime, Turk Hakkinen still on pole position, 121.3, so he's improved even further than his personal best.
Half a second.
He's found half a second. So he's now got an advantage of just 0.6 seconds over the rest of the competition at the moment. Jesper Eriksson is in P2. Luigi Russo for the 86 Eagle team is in P3. Okay, so that is so that is the end of qualifying for the GTCs. Turk Hakkinen, did he make it over the line in time? I'm not too sure. But that is the end of qualifying. I mean, he knows he's got pole position. He's probably just celebrating now as he goes around one final time. But let's have a look at some of the GT cars coming outside the pit lane now. We've got the 86 for the GTEs. In fact, there's a lot of cars coming out now. one of which, of course, is the Bros Racing BMW. New paint scheme for this year, or this event.
The car is that 8.7. Not too sure about the check on the bonnet, but yeah, going further back, it's a very tiny looking car. GTE's weaving down the back straight there just to get as much heat into those tyres as they can.
Yeah, you've got to get the heat into them tyres early on because it's only 15 minutes. I mean, although those lap times are pretty low, even for the GTEs, you've still got to think there's a lot of traffic around. You don't want to have that compromise, so it's about getting those temps up really quick and then pretty much flying lap and then back in again.
Yep, it's quickest way to get those laps in, but we'll see who can come on someone off at the first corner. Looks like one of the Corvettes, not sure entirely who that was. I think that might have been number 4, Matthew Beavis. Ruined his lap before it really even began, just going off into the first corner.
Yeah, that's really strange because usually that's, you know, Matthew Beavis had actually won last year, so that's not going to be the way that they want to start that session at all.
No, it's very easy. You just get one wheel on the grass into the entry, then that's pretty much your, you know, all she wrote. When you go off into that grass, it's a very tricky one to get right in the first corner.
Just waiting for these times to come in for the first time. Number 24 is the leading GTE out there on the moment, and we'll see them start to come into order. These probably won't be a representation of full racing pace at this moment in time. Still have to give it a few more laps for those tyres to get up to full working temperature, and probably about the second or third flying lap will be the one that really counts for these guys. So here we go, Dennis Castillo Sims sets the fastest lap so far, which is 1:17.3. A lot of teams coming in close behind, 17.3 as well, 17.6, 17.8, and they are coming thick and fast here.
This will be the lap now that really matters. First one, just a banker, just to get the times in, but this second lap is going to be a much faster one. Daniel Vidamari, number 68, going quickest there with a 1:16.9. Going out again, see if we can set a quicker time now. Someone off in the background there, looks like one of the Go Team Racing Porsche. I think they had made a mistake through the S's, so they are back in the pits.
Castillo Sims retakes that pole position, comes across the line for the second time, 1:16.6 on the board. That purple sector in the latter half of the lap is what saved him. So it's green in sector 1 and 2, but purple sector 3. So that's where he's finding the time at the moment. Coming in second place is the Black Hawk Racing car that is driven by Alex at the moment, and that's one of the Corvettes. Very few of them here this year after the BOP changes that took place for the Virtual 20-hour Le Mans. And he's given up on that particular lap, so obviously not happy about something. And here comes Matthew Beavis, the defending champions from last year, the number 4 flanking that Corvette C7, and that is a lap time, 1:16.833 there, Dave.
Yeah, pretty decent lap time. I'm pretty sure they've got a little bit more pace in the tank, but in reality, qualifying around here isn't the most important thing. Obviously, it's a 10-hour race, and there's plenty of time to gain positions. You've got to get to the end, basically. If you can get to the end of a race like this and have minimal issues, spend least time in the pit, you can be backing it into the right hand there, very well held. But as long as you can get to the end of the race with minor issues, then pretty much, you know, they could get away with this. It's all about survival.
Bit of a moment there as he tried to, I don't know what was going on there, but
like I think he might have just got it wrong out the turn 8 and decided no, that's enough. But possibly forgetting he's not got ABS in his cars.
That's a pretty large oversight if you ask me, but you know, oh, what car am I driving today? Oh yes, this one that doesn't have any ABS functions. Having a look at some of the others of the grid. Coming in at P6, Tom Brandt with the 99 project car, so he's just coming through sector 1 fairly slowly, so his personal best though, 117.172. So he's got room to improve. Let's see what he can do. Now, for those of you wondering what the question mark is next to the names, that's actually something that's inbuilt for the new overlay system. So for those of you that know, Rf2 has recently it's undergone a bit of a makeover. So what's happening now is that we've got this new overlay made by the lovely Mikhail Nizio, who's one of our admin team. He's done a wonderful job in getting this set up for the race today. However, there's still a few things that we can improve, i.e. those question mark boxes, to get those paint schemes up and ready, so it'll display it when we're actually on board with these guys and following them around the track. But that's something that we can implement at a later date. Well, for now, it's just about getting this all tickety-boo and working.
What happens to the project car there? He's kind of got stuck in the pit.
Yeah, he was entering pit lane and he messed it up pretty much by the looks of things. So not too sure what happened there, but it's back underway now. So we're now following the 14 ERS machine, another Porsche on board. And they're currently sitting P8, 118 or 117.2 rather. Oh, and even he's made a mistake going through sector 1. So I think it's time to go with an onboard lap, shall we? Daniel Vidamari now coming in on pole position with his 68 drive game seat BMW there. So we have our new fastest time on the board.
BMW looks good in those colours.
They always do a good job of painting their machines, whatever they choose.
You're getting a little bit squirrely out of the right-hander there onto the back straight. That's going to slow him down a little bit.
Well, it's purple through sector 1 by 0.3 seconds. Coming through sector 2 now. Yeah, he's lost all that advantage that he's gained, but he's still up on time by at least 0.1 second there.
The final corner, can he improve on his time? Very quick finish line, and he goes 1 minute 16.385, so he does. He's gained about 0.2 of a second there. Good lap.
So he now, although Dennis Castillo Sims is not far behind, only about 0.2 seconds to find in order. Oh, and even as we say that, he's going really wide on the exit of turn 1 there, having a bit of an excursion, almost a safari trip. He went that wide.
It's always awful when you go off and the exit of the first corner is on the grass and pretty much out of control. Nope. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, you pretty much just get sucked onto the grass. So as soon as that one little blade hits that tyre, you just almost lose control or directional travel of the car whatsoever. You kind of have to straighten the steering wheel and hope that you don't hit the barriers. It's just one of those things. Sitting in P3 though, Matthew Beavis for Team Rookie Monsters.
Bit of slipstream from the Aston Martin in the Aston's heating.
On Track VR Racing, they're currently sitting in P12 at the moment. I believe that's the number 11 Aston Martin, which it is. Colin Sanders currently driving that. Their best lap time 117.5. So, although he's getting a nice little slipstream there, is it going to be enough through the corners to make an advantage?
Corners are the most important section of this track. Not many places the slipstream is going to help. Obviously down the long back straight, but even that is not that long. By the time you've made a little bit of time up in the slipstream, you've lost it in the corners again. You really don't get a chance to have a break around this circuit. Not like Le Mans when you've got a good minute or so of flat out driving. You are constantly going to corner. Oh, the number 11 goes spearing off into the barriers there.
Yep, Aston Martin does like to kill people. That's just one of its features.
back in a bit. Hopefully he's back on track. So about 4 minutes less of qualifying, so he's maybe got maybe 2 or 3 laps. Maybe a fourth one is quick before he can prove his position. He's got a little bit of time to gain. Does the number 11? He wants to get to more competitive positions. 6 cars within the 1 minute 16s.
Oh, Matthew Beavis now green through sector 1. Although it's still quite a bit slower than David Amari, plus 0.4 seconds. Although, here we go, purple through sector 2. He's got a lot of work to do in sector 3 though, if he's going to find that time. Looks pretty well planted through the chicanes of turn 10 and over the crest of the hill he goes. A little lift over as the front of the car gains elevation. Ooh, good sector 3 as well, but still not good enough to improve.
The BMW is looking pretty strong at the top of the board at the moment. About half a second he wants to challenge for pole. Quickly run out of time to do that.
Yeah, we haven't got long left for the GTEs.
Oh, we've got more to do now. Alex no, we've butchered the name. There we go. It's happened already.
It's Broughtigam. Alex Broughtigam in Blackport Racing has just gone into P3. So Matthew Beebe is now demoted by a fellow Corvette of all things. And we're going to go on board with one of the drivers here, so Danny Vidamari. Let's hope that he's going to go for another flying lap. So let's just go inside the onboard footage, which is located on the hood of the cars for the GTEs. Now coming down into sector 1. Here we go. So similar to the GTC, it's going to be a lot faster pace though. So over to the left-hand side, there's no cones left, so good luck trying to use those as a reference. Allow the speed to carry through as much as you can. Make sure you're mid-circuit for the crest of the hill. Braking down into third gear and using that cresting curve as much as you dare. It will unsettle the car. Then make sure you're in the middle of the circuit for the downhill, because otherwise it does tend to understeer off into the grass if you're not too careful. Turn 5, use all of the curve, which he does, and across down towards sector 2 now. So he was a bit slower that time by 0.169 seconds, so not his personal best, but he is still pretty quick compared to the rest of the grid though. Down into second gear, make sure you get a really clean exit. This is important corner once again, same for the GTEs as it was for the flat 6 cars as well. And now accelerating down towards turn 10. Heavily braking onto the right hand side. Make sure you snip over to the left. Make sure you get a nice clean exit of the final corner as someone tries to join the server and cause a bit of lag. Over the crest of the hill, down to the final corner, just about missed that curb, and there's a lap of Road Atlanta in the GTEs. As we've said that, he's actually been demoted into P2 there, Dave.
Yeah, Dennis Castillo Sims, the 87, 1 minute 16.233. He's gained a lot of time on that lap, so fantastic work from him. Wonder what the drivers can do to respond to that, but they are running out of time. This is pretty much everyone else's last lap if they cross the line now. There's only 13 seconds of the GTE qualifying to go. Castillo Sims goes even quicker, 1 minute 16.201, and that's him done. So who can respond to that? Vidamari is obviously the closest person to that. Only got to find about just under 0.2 of a second, but all the other drivers are a little bit further back. They've got a bit more time to find. So Castillo Sims looking good for a pole position here.
But Dennis Castillo Sims is back in pit lane. We've had a new person going to P3. That is Team ERS as they come across the start-finish line for the final time. As you say, all the LMP2s now coming out onto the track limits. But that is the end of GTE qualifying for you. So as it stands, it is Dennis Castillo Sims for the 87, followed by the 68 from Drive Game Seat Racing, then the 14 from ERS. or Team ERS, however you want to pronounce it. Then we've got Black Hawk Racing in the 81 Corvette in P4, and the defending champions from last year, Matthew Beavis, in P5. Just outside of that, we have the number 6 from Juice's Motorsport Club, so another person that did extremely well. They came 3rd last year, so looking to do the same again, if not better. And then Pim van Aert in the 57 from Fair Racing Team in P7. Satellite Racing in the 64 in P8. And then we have Fair Racing Team with Mark Veit in P9. Then Colin Sanders, we saw him go off last time he was on screen, but he's managed to claw together that final P10 position for the Aston Martin. It's actually the only Aston Martin, I believe, out on track. And then Tom Brandt in the 99 Project GT car in P11. Luca Gray in the 360 Motorsport car in P12. Then we've got the 92 from Core Team in 13th place. And then the 75 from Panica Gaming in 14th place. Then we've got the sister car from Black Hawk Racing. It's called Black Duck Racing, so I guess that's a little inside joke. Not too sure what that is, but they're P15. And then the number 10 from Panica Gaming in P16 as well. So... Oh, and the number 12 from Track VR Racing, they are also P17. So 17 GTE cars there for you as the LMP2s go around. We're just on board with Shattered Windscreen Racing. Hopefully that's not going to become a real thing. But they're just about to start their flying lap as they come through Sector 1 for the first time, Dave.
Yeah, these cars are extremely quick around here. There's so much downforce and grip, and they're powerful as well. So, yeah, we're going to see... the first times coming to the board, only just over a minute around this lap, as the Shattered Windscreen car does have a little bit of an issue, but we'll ignore that.
Yeah, I think that might have just been a bit cold tyres using the exit. As we mentioned, there's not a lot of grip there on the exit of that corner, so everyone's so eager to get the power down nice and early. Doesn't always work that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're not the easiest cars in the world to drive, these LMP2s. I don't think they have traction control. I might be wrong there. So our application is tricky, especially around here when you've got all the undulations. It's not a flat track by any means, so it's very easy to unsettle a car like this. The suspension's so solid, just so you can get the most out of the downforce. So yeah, it's a real task getting these cars around.
Well. Sorry, go on.
Well, on the number 80, I'm not sure if they've put this in as a as like just part of the livery, but the windscreen is actually shattered.
Oh. Well, I guess that makes sense. Oh, but yeah.
They've either already had a massive crash, or that's just part of the
livery. Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't that annoy you if you was going around and you had that constant crack down the middle of the screen? I don't know if it's just an outside effect, or if they see that on the inside as well. But yeah, I've never noticed that before. First of the times coming in from Maurice Mel for the LMP2 class. That is Go Team Racing taking pole position. 108.4 to beat there.
Time to start to tumble now. Number 77. Yeah, it's done pretty good so far. They're normally not the highest up the field. It's so they, but they're doing quite well at the moment. There's still quite a lot of time left in the qualifying to go. We might start seeing the likes of Seawolf Net Race cars coming up the order as well, and the likes Black Hawk Racing. Obviously, they are the winners last time round. They've got some work to do if they want to get up to the top of the field. We know how quick they are. So it's nice to see them back on the grid again.
Yeah, of course, Black Hawk Racing defending their title this year as well, so got to keep an eye on that team. Simco P2, their first showing in this particular class. They took the GT3s for the last season of World Sports Car Championship, so they're going to be one to keep an eye on too. But here's your defending champions with Xabakis. That is the number 1 car, so this is going to be the car that everyone wants to beat there, Dave.
Yep, they've got a lot of work to do, and all the pressure's on them to defend their position. They didn't, unfortunately. I don't think they competed in WSCC earlier this year and last year, but it's nice to see them back to defend the title of what is probably the biggest event that we do here, so it's all about winning at Petit Le Mans.
Well, it's because it's not easy. Of course, we had the virtual Le Mans, was it 2 weeks ago? At, well, the R-Factor 2 official virtual Le Mans. We've had the iRacing 24-hour Le Mans, which we got taken out of quite drastically. We won't go into that. Let's not talk about how we got destroyed so dramatically.
How I did.
Oh, how you crashed it into the Porsche curves. Was it Tetra Rouge?
No, it was Tetra. No, it wasn't Tetra Rouge. I didn't crash at all. For some reason, I just disconnected.
Oh, you disconnected? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all that happened.
Wait a minute, that's an R-Factor 2 problem, not an iRacing problem. But anyway, so what better way to continue the long list of endurance events than going to Petit Le Mans? This is the baby sister of the bigger event, of course. Doesn't make it to 12 hours, unfortunately, even though the name suggests Petit Le Mans, so halfway. But still, 10 hours of Road Atlanta, I think, is enough, because I don't think that I would want to do that personally either.
No,
could you imagine 24 hours of Road Atlanta?
Oh, God, I'd be dead. I'm pretty sure I'd be dead after the 10 hours. We normally are after commentating on the thing, but I can't imagine, driving that length of time around here. I mean, as I said earlier, it's a little bit more difficult, in my opinion, than Le Mans, because you don't get a break. In Le Mans is, 70% of the lap is flat out?
Yeah.
And all you've got to do is drive in a straight line. Here, barely any of this circuit is flat out. It's all difficult corners.
Well, let's put it this way. Charles Leclerc would not be able to eat his yogurt going down the Mulsanne if he was here at Road Atlanta. I mean, you might have a tiny window on the back straight coming down to Sector 3, but you're going to have to eat pretty quick to get that thing done and dusted before the next corner comes up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got the straight, but especially in the LMP2, you have to weave your way through traffic as well. So you don't really get any break at all, because you've still got to work your way around the traffic and make sure you're not punting anybody. So yeah, this is a challenge. It is really a challenge.
Let's go back to the action on track then. So the number 17 from Drillers Esports is currently on pole position with a 1:08.2. Then you've got in second the 47 from Seawolf Net Race Motorsport. That's with Ibrahim Khan. That's a 1:08.280. So it's 0.004 of a second between those two pole positions. That is really close. And then we have Maurice Mel for the Go Team Racing LMP2, 1:08.412. Then it's Charlie Rigo for On-Off Racing, 1:08.466. Then we have the defending champs, Black Hawk Racing, 1:08.671. And then the number 3, who of course came third last year, for Bros Racing LMP2, and that is 1:08.7 in 6th place. Then we've got Simco P2, Balaskis, 1:08.918. Sim Apex Racing Team, that's got Paul Rolt behind the wheel, they're in P8. And then rounding out the top 10, we've got Max Scholten for the 39 Fair Racing Team. And then Royal Blue Racing, who took part in our Formula 3 Championship over the winter months, have suddenly taken up the task of driving the prototypes.
A bit of a step up, but it's good to see them back in the league. They were fairly competitive in the Formula 3s. They were always thereabouts, maybe in the top 5. So it's good to see them making the big step up into LMP2. Wonder if they can translate the success they had in Formula 3 into LMP2. It's a completely different machine, and it's a completely different challenge, but some of the skills will definitely cross over.
Yeah. Oh, there's a big crunch. Who was that? That wasn't the number 17 car, because they made it through. And we have a new leader in the LMP2. That's Go Team Racing. They've reclaimed pole position, 1:08.084. So they've managed to find those extra 0.4 seconds somehow, and they're now back in pole position there.
Yeah, we can keep an eye on number 47, the Seawolf Net Race. They are always good at qualifying. They've not had the luck, especially in WSCC, they didn't have the luck in the race or have a lot of race pace, but they've always been good at qualifying. So keep an eye on the 47. They've only got 0.03 of a second between them and second place, and under 0.2 to pole, so they're in with a good chance still.
Well, we've got 4 minutes left in qualifying. They're just on their outlap at the moment, still in charge of pole position. I'd say that's prime time to go on board, don't you?
I'd say so.
So, going on to the onboard footage for Go Team Racing. They're now current pole position team, if I can get my words out. And coming up to the last sector now, underneath the PTLM bridge. That's going to be the new phrase of it now, as we've got our lovely new logos there, all designed by David Amari, so thank you to him as we go across the start-finish line into Sector 1. A lot more speed carried in here, as you can even tell just by being on the onboard footage. A lot more speed coming through. That's going to cause a problem when traffic now becomes an issue later on in the race. Over the curve for turn 3, again taking it fairly aggressively, so it sets you up for the S's. Down the hill, make sure you hit those apexes nicely, and that sets you up for turn 5. Ooh, a bit aggressive on the exit, nearly goes into the gravel, but nicely managed there as he gets to the crest. Down into Sector 2, hit that 100 metre board, braking down heavily, let the car do the rest as it hits the apex once more. Bit of a wide entry to the turn 9 corner there as he gets a bit wide. That would have compromised his speed on the exit slightly, but not so much. Back up to racing speed now, though, as he comes down towards the chicanes of turn 10, A and B. Look out for the braking marker. Once again, use that curbing if you want. Aggressively on the inside for both of them, and that means you can accelerate early underneath the bridge and over the crest. And he's actually abandoned it. That's very interesting. So he lost just under 0.2 seconds in Sector 1. But Sector 2 was spot on. You know, it was 8 thousandths of a second slower. So a bit interesting to see him abandon that particular lap there.
Yeah, very strange. It must have been low on fuel. He couldn't do the other lap. So we'll see if he goes out again. But running out of time now to actually set a decent lap. Even Khan is up into second place now, so he's found that extra little bit of pace. 1.5 tenths of a second to the number 77. So, doesn't look like he's going back out at the moment, though. He might be going out possibly for one last flying lap at the end.
Yeah, we've also got further developments for the Simco P2. Balaskit's moving up into P4 now, so it's a 108.4. So he's doing well for the team as well.
Yeah, a good-looking livery there. I think they've made some minor adjustments to the colour scheme for this event, and I must say that is a nice green. Yeah. I do appreciate a nice green on a racing car. You don't see it very often.
Yeah, they used to have that camo type deal going on for the McLaren that they took as part of the World Sports Car Championship. But yeah, I'm liking the P2 with the silver aspect, or the silver effect on the rear tail fin and whatnot.
Whoa, that's a big moment they had into turn 1.
And just to give us a 360 view of the paint scheme, he's decided to do a little pirouette off at turn 1. So he must have heard us talking, thinking, they want to see the paint, eh? And just yeeted it into turn 1.
That's exactly what happened.
And Charlie Rigo, in the meantime, back in P5, 108.467. So he just needs to find that extra tenth, and he can easily move up a few positions there.
That's Kiss in. Sorry, he's back out. I was thinking it was Shabakish. There we go. So the Blackcock car in 7th position, about 4 tenths off the pole. They can get a couple of, 3 positions. They've found an extra tenth coming on to what would probably be their final lap now. So they've got it all to do if they want to get a little bit further up the grid. But as we said earlier, qualifying isn't the most important aspect of this race.
No, definitely not. It's qualifying is. I think it's more of a confidence boost. More than anything, you kind of line up the rest of the competition. You know where you stand, what you can aim to achieve, or what you can expect. So you know, if you was P5 for on-off racing, you can expect or hope, at least in your heads or your minds, think that that's where you belong by the end of the race, if all goes well, based on pure pace alone. Of course, we know that it's not that simple. Road Atlanta is very narrow. It's going to chuck a ton of challenges at these drivers and their teammates. And it's just about a bit of luck. A lot of patience is required, and knowing when to push the car and when to make those important moves.
Yeah, the number 1 car goes into 4th position. They had a purple second sector, so they've got a lot of pace. They've run out of time to do it, though. That is the end of qualifying, and that is number 77 on pole.
Well, here we go. So it's the last final laps for the teams here. Charlie Rieger coming through sector 2 as he gets to the crest of the hill. It's slightly slower, 0.5 seconds as he comes down to sector 3. So it's not his personal best, unfortunately. Let's see what he can conjure up as he crosses the line.
Number 47 was quickest in sector 1. They've lost a lot of time in sector 2 and they have abandoned that. So they are set with at least second position at the moment.
Well, I don't think there's any more cars out on track at the moment. There's a few coming through the last final corners, one of which is the Simco P2, just coming across the start-finish line. Is it an improvement? No, it's not.
No, it's gone into 4th position, so that's ahead of the number 1 car. So they've gained at least 1 position there.
Yes, my apologies. I'm going blind. So that is your official lineup for the day, ladies and gents. We have Go Team Racing taking pole position, Seawolf Netrace Motorsports in 2nd, Drillers Esports in P3, Simco P2 in 4th, and then Black Hawk Racing are defending champs in P5. Then it's On-Off Racing in P6, followed by the number 3 from Bros Racing LMP2, and then it's Max Scholten in P8. What we're going to do now, gents, is go for a quick advert break. We'll be right back with the action and the rest of the 10 hours of Petit Le Mans. So stay tuned and we'll be back soon. Hello and welcome back one and all to the live stream for the CFS 2020 Petit Le Mans. We are just about to finish the warm-up session as the checkered flag is flown. So that just gives the drivers and the teams that last bit of warning so that they can get a drink, have a little break and get ready for the challenge ahead. Got all the teams that have set qualifying times for us here so far, and they are about to go racing. If you're just joining us, you haven't missed the start at all, and you're about to witness history unfold for some of the teams here today. Got three classes as usual: LMP2, GTE and GTC. As the announcement is made by the game that all the personnel need to leave the grid now. Deafens my ears every time it does that. But we are now about to grid all of our vehicles and get racing. So as I begin to line up and get ready for the start, it's going to be a manual rolling grid, which means that the game will announce the start of the race and the timer will begin to count down. However, they will still need to complete one warm-up lap before they are allowed to start the race, which will be announced by race control themselves.
Starting to get very excited now, and this is where everyone in the cars is going to start feeling the tension build and the anxiousness start to draw in. But it's all very exciting. It's always a good start here at Petit Le Mans.
Yeah, so that tension now starting to set in to the cockpit of these cars. We're just on board with Maurice Mel, our leading LMP2, and you know, at this part of the race, all you want to do is just get going. You don't want to set into a rhythm, you want to be able to relax. So this part of the race is always going to be that, oh my god, I hope I don't screw this up.
Yeah, you just want to focus on hitting your marks, and it's difficult to do that when there's 17 other cars around you all trying to do the same thing. But yeah, you just need to keep it calm and collected and try not to let the nerves get to you as you go around the first lap and, well, the first number of laps around here.
Yeah, so as you can see, the car's now starting to roll by. They're going to do the lap at quarter racing speed in a two-wide formation, and as we said, the race control or race director will announce the start when they get back onto the start-finish straight. So let's go through the order. If you are just joining us, let's go and see who is where. So qualifying first, and at the top of the LMP2 field is Go Team Racing. In second place alongside for the start is Seawolf Netrace Motorsports, Ibrahim Khan in charge of that vehicle. Driller Esports with the 17 machine is in P3, and then going into P4 we have Simco P2 with Balas Kiss behind the wheel. Black Hawk Racing, our defending champions, start in P5, and unfortunately we won't have enough time to go through the entire order, so we'll go down to our GTEs. So on pole position is Dennis Castillo Sims for the Bros Racing GTE, and then in second we have Daniel Vidamari for the Drive Game Seat BMW. In P3 it is ERS team with 14 car, and then in next position is the Team Rookie Monsters with Matthew Beavis and the Black Hawk Racing machine. Finally, we've got the GTCs, which is Turk Hakkinen in pole position. So that is for Hydra Racing. They won last year.
All teams, we're going to go for a restart because we're missing a car. We're going for a restart.
Okay, so we're missing a car for some reason, not too sure why. So I've got 43 cars on the grid, so I'm not too sure what's happened there. So
I think someone might possibly disconnected maybe, but yeah, I think we're going to go for a the session, I believe.
Ah, the joys of R-Factor 2, where people just randomly get disconnected between session changes. So as per race control, we're just going to do a quick restart of the session and get this back underway. Thankfully, it's not a warm-up lap like Le Mans. It's fairly quick and painless, but we'll soon get this sorted, hopefully. Yeah, there's the session restart, hence why the cars are all drifting all over the place. So there is the race restart. So just allow the cars to line up once more, and then we can get this underway. So as if the tension wasn't bad enough for the teams and the drivers, now they've got to do it all again.
Yeah, it's always the worst. You're getting yourself in the zone, and then suddenly, oh, we're not going, and you have to kind of get yourself out of that zone, but also kind of maintain, your focus. It's difficult when things don't start immediately. The tensions keep building and keep building, and it's not ideal. I think we could go back to the warm-up session just so the other car can actually get into the server, because I don't think it'll let them when we're in the race session. But
No.
We'll just wait till we're back into that, and then we will be underway once again.
Now, one issue that I know about Rf2 is that special characters, but I'm just looking at this. I don't think anyone does have any special characters, so it was just a plain drop in their disconnect, in their internet, it seems, which has caused the issue. But that stuff kind of happens. It's a big event. There's a lot of things to load in, especially with all these cars. So we just have to wait and see if they do come back.
Hopefully they can do. It's nothing worse than putting all of the effort and practice in, and then the race is over before it even begins.
Now what is happening is I'm getting a lot of people saying that the stream is slightly laggy, so we're actually going to take this moment to quickly see if we can fix that for all you guys watching at home and on your own desktops. So while we're waiting for the other person to join, we'll just quickly refresh the